Welcome to everyone to the Collage Artists of America's annual open virtual art show, Connections. And I'm welcoming people on behalf of the Collage Artists of America is putting this on. And welcome on behalf of the San Fernando Valley Arts and Cultural Center SCORE project. And that said, I'm not going to keep talking. I'm going to stop sharing this and turn it over to Sylvia.
Welcome, everybody. It's good to see all these faces. I hope that those of you whose names are up will put your video on so we can see everybody, because it's nice to see your faces, your smiling faces tonight. And so I see them popping open, and that's really nice. We are so happy to have all of you join us, and I'm looking forward to giving out our awards for this wonderful show. Our juror, Christine Schumacher, will join us later, and she will have some words to say about the way and she handled the jurying of the show. She had a lot of things to pick from, and I must say the show is very exciting. If you haven't seen it, take the time to go through, because there are a lot of really wonderful pieces that are in this show. And thank you all for entering, and congratulations to the winners. And thank you also, if any of you that entered and didn't get in, please remember to try again, because it's always a new juror with new opinions. So your work is always of value to us. And some thank you for all being here. I just, while we're waiting for everyone to get going, I want to remind you that we have this wonderful newsletter that Hui Lin Lin publishes every month, and it's so full of exciting and delightful news, interesting information, and a lot of art from our members. So be sure when you get the newsletter, open it and go through, because it's really quite an adventure to go through our newsletter. Let's take a moment too, if Suzanne and Patrice want to tell us something about our membership, this would be a good time. So where are they?
I'm here right next to you.
Oh, okay. I don't see.
Yes, welcome everyone. This is the show looks great, and congratulations again on our award winners and everyone who got accepted into the show. We have several new members who joined and got into the show. We hope that those of you who are not members yet will consider joining up with us. It's a great group, and we just are happy to be here today and to see faces and see waves. Hi, Brenda, you're waving. A lot of people we haven't seen for a while, and it's always nice. I just had cataract surgery in both my eyes, so I'm a little challenged at the moment. So I have asked my wonderful co-chair, Patrice Goldberg. Some of you corresponded with Patrice to take over now and say a few words to you. So thank you so much.
Suzanne, thank you. I'm waving to everybody, but I can't see all the faces on my screen. So I know there are more faces looking in. Suzanne and I are a good team. I joined Collage Artists of America less than a year ago. And Suzanne is, I believe, one of the veteran members. So we are excited for different reasons. And I wanted to share some statistics with you all, because it is exciting to see the growth, exponential growth. When I joined, there were maybe 150 members, I believe. We have to date 172 active members, and the representation is coast to coast. And there are some also in the Canada area too. So because of our ability to interact with each other virtually, the group has gone from San Fernando Valley, Southern California, to a nationwide group, and it offers us the opportunity to be exposed to many more works of art, inputs, opinions, experiences, and again, as a new member, someone who worked primarily in her garage studio. This has really opened up my eyes to a lot of new opportunities. In the past 2 months, let's see, I wrote some statistics down, which is not my forte. So I said we have 172 new members to date. We had 61 people join just in 2023 and 15 new members in the last 2 months, with the latest member being only 5 days ago. So the activity is just growing and growing. It's exciting. So like I say, as a new member, to all of you who have been here for a while, you've seen the evolution and the changes. And to those of you who are new, the meetings are well worth participating, because there's always some little nuggets to be gleaned. And then lastly, I also wanted to put in a plug for the committees, because each of our committees, there are 9 of them, have a chair, and that chair is typically working solo. So as you know, when you belong to groups, what do they say, that 20% of the participants are doing 80% of the work? We really, really would like some assistance in participating. It doesn't mean you're the only responsible person, but it's nice, again, to get some new blood. So if you go online to the newsletter, there is a link that will give you an opportunity to see the different committees, and then the person who leads that committee, the chair, and the opportunity to contact that person to say, yes, I'm interested in working on programs, or I want to participate in exhibit development. The ones that have no chairs currently are historian and philanthropy. So those groups are sort of flying, so without a leader right now. But there are 9 different groups. So please take a look and consider helping. That's what I did. And Susan and I work really well together, because when one has to bow out for whatever reason, the other one picks up, and that's a luxury. And with that was more than a minute or two, but thank you. It's nice to see everybody.
But thank you.
Patrice.
Thanks.
Yeah, whatever she said is accurate. So we would love to have volunteers to help. The board is wonderful. We get along great. Everybody has a good time, and we can always use new ideas and new input. So please consider that. Look for us at the CAA website. Before we start the awards, I hope that Penny, who is our exhibits chair, who has done a fabulous job. I want to thank you, Penny, for all of us, for putting this wonderful, wonderful exhibit together. It's not an easy job, and she can use help too, by the way, if anybody's interested in that. It's a fun area to be associated with. But at this point, I'd like to ask Penny if she has a sample of the awards that that we send out to all of the award winners. And we'll just show you one, if we can zoom in on.
Hard to see.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to see. Can you put it up straight in front of your camera a little
Yeah,
bit?
I think part of it because you have a blurred background.
Yeah,
that's
I
showing is
know.
blurred. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me on blur. There you go.
Oh, there it
Also
is.
see my mess in my house too.
So all of the
Lovely.
all of the award winners will be receiving that in the mail, and those that have a monetary reward will include their check. We won't show that each time we announce a winner this time, because that's an extra lengthy part of the procedure. So at this point, I guess we can begin to give out our awards, and I want you to stick around afterwards. So we'll have the award winners mention something about their piece and tell us a little bit about it. Christine the juror will be joining us a little later, and when she does, she'll have a few words to say about her selection and her jury process.
I did
After,
want to say one thing when you're done, Sylvia.
yes,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
just going to add that after all the award winners speak, then you will be invited to say something about the piece that you have or your work. Penny, what else were you going to say?
Yeah, I just dialing back to needing people to help and support. You know, we're now national, as Sylvia was saying, and we have people on the board who actually are not local. We meet online at this point, I've been in for, I guess, 3 years, 2.5 years, and it's always online. And I don't live in the San Fernando Valley, and it's not really a problem. So we would love to have, if you're in New York, if you're in Massachusetts, wherever, Canada, we can work with you. So.
Good point. Thanks, Penny. So before we start, I also want to just make a note, first of all, that we have a Carol Ann Watterson Award that's made possible by a general endowment from her estate. To honor her memory, the award is given to work that reflects her beautiful simplicity and elegant style. And she was one of our early founders of Collage Artists of America and very active in making a collage what it is. So let's move on now. We're going to start with honorary mentions. And our first honorary mention goes to Richard Poland, I hope I'm pronouncing it properly, for his piece, Tempting Adolescence. It's mixed media, 12 by 12. Richard, are you here? Is Richard here? Unmute yourself if you are and say hello. Okay, I have a...
What was Richard's last name? I'll check the participant list just to make sure.
Poulin.
Okay.
I have a hunch he said that he could not make it. Do you remember, Penny?
No, I did not hear from him, actually. So one way or another.
Okay, well, anyway, this piece again is mixed media, 12 by 12, very interesting. And we'll just move on. I see a picture probably of him as a little boy in there. Very nice. The next honorable mention is for Eve Ozer. This is a dream. Collage, graphite, and acrylic ink. 14 by 11. Eve, are you with us tonight? Eve Ozer, Ozer. A lot of these people are from out of state, and so the time could be, and it's Saturday, could be a time conflict. So
I don't see the name in the participants.
so they will receive the award, and as I said. Now, the next honorable mention is Emily Krill, Krill, for this piece, Sunset. Mixed media. This is 8 by 10 inches. It's very interesting. It looks like she has a perforation over her painting. I thought she had drawn all these lines, but it looks different. It looks not like that now that I see it close, personal.
It looks like a computer print, like an old-fashioned computer printout or
right.
some machinery. Yeah.
Put over her
Yeah.
collage.
And that's probably the back of it, the back of the time card or whatever it is.
Yes,
That's what I think too.
interesting.
Mm.
General property tax that pays behind it. Then for our next honorable mention, Toria Frey.
Yeah, she had a prior commitment, so she won't be here.
All right, her piece is called Dancing with Your Ghost. Sean said something about the piece before.
Mm,
That was a piece of the piano roll.
yeah, I think you're right, Sean.
Yeah, I think so too, now that you mention it. Back to this one, Toria Frey, Dancing with Your Ghost, a mixed media, 6 inches by 4 inches. Torn paper and cut out. Nice. Okay, now we're going to go towards the Carol Ann Watterson Award. Again, this has got that simplicity and elegant style of hers. This is called Structured Fragments, number 26, and the artist is Stephen Wagner. Are you here?
No, he's out of the country.
It's
Yeah.
too bad, because it would be lovely to hear these people, what they have to say about their piece.
Yeah.
This one is again interesting on the numbers down below, and then this perforated something or other here too, and that's tape measure. Nice composition. Well, I know that Carol Gillen is here, and she is our 3rd place winner with her collage, Exceptional Encounter, 15 by 11. Carol, are you here? Carol, you better be here. I saw
didn't see her
She
name.
she is
She's in here. She's,
here, but maybe she can't speak.
well, that's to ask her to
unmute yourself.
unmute, and then I'm looking for a way to.
Oh, can you hear me?
Now, yes, now we can.
Yes, we can, and I'm trying to spotlight you, but
I
Carol, you don't have your
I've
picture
got-
on.
I got my camera up and I don't know how to get my image.
Okay, well, we'll listen to you, right?
Okay,
We'll-
Carol, do you see at the bottom of your screen where it says video? A little video camera at the bottom?
Lower left.
yeah,
says stop video. Click that.
can you see me now?
Yes, we can. There she
There you
is.
are.
Okay,
I didn't know that's what
I
you
just
could
pinned
do.
you. Okay, now we can see you too.
Great, okay.
Bravo.
Can you spotlight her at all? Because I don't see her.
You don't see her? I have
She's
her pinned.
down on the bottom.
I see her. She's under, she probably
Okay.
looks different at everybody, but I see it right. I see her. Okay, Carol, go. We want to hear more about this piece. I know you had a lot of work put into this.
Okay, well, as we all know, art is a process. And I looked at what the title of the show is, and it's like putting pieces together. And so the only thing I started out with was this big canvas or paper, and a little drawn image of a duck. And I just started taking small pieces of paper and gluing them, and it created this image. And the whole thing is covered except for the duck with collage paper. So what I did was that I took a whole bunch of little pieces like a puzzle, and I created a whole new image.
Wow,
Lovely. Beautiful.
it's very beautiful. Yeah.
What is the dress made out of?
It's like printed with little stuff on it.
Okay. Did you print it, or was it?
No, it came that way.
Okay.
I cut her out and she was that way.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Go ahead.
and so I just put her in there, and of course, I found little pieces that look like rocks, and of course I had to do a little shading and stuff to make it look like she was seated on them. And I think this is supposed to be a waterfall, but it looked like a tree trunk to me, so that was good. And,
I thought it was a waterfall, actually.
Yeah.
yeah, well, whatever you want it to be,
Yeah,
it is what it is.
it's nature.
Whatever you say it is. And,
Oh, that's great.
anyway, so that's how I found pieces that ended up looking like rocks and in the water and so on and so forth.
Well, congratulations, Carol. It's a lovely piece.
Thank
And
you.
And what, go ahead, were you going to say something else?
I just said thank you.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you for sharing this beautiful one. All right, then moving on then to our second place winner.
Tom is here. I saw him.
I'm-
Okay,
Yes.
Tom Lasley with his painting, Dr. Fredericks. It's a mixed media, 16 by 20. Tell us about this, Tom.
Well, it's from a catalog that I tore into teeny tiny bits and then glued at random to this canvas. It's very therapeutic. I don't have a whole lot of control over the outcome. I just grab whatever little piece happens to come out of the bowl of torn bits that I've created. And getting the award means a lot to me because I've been making these for a little while now, and I have not really had a response, or I wondered how people might respond to them. And so this is pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
certainly.
It looks like, though, that as you place them, you did have an eye for where they were going to go. I mean, it looks like you placed each piece with some thought.
Well, a little thought. I might decide, okay, this needs to be this can be type, face, print, and then if that gets to be too much, yeah, I'll fish around for something that's a little bit of color or something.
Right, because the balance, I see the balance is quite nice,
Yes.
the colors kind of take your eye all the way through, and there's a little some spots of red that catch your eye, and the print, holds it all together. There's definitely an artistic eye that had to go onto this piece. So
I
thank.
I have a question. How did you come to the title?
I'm actually a little bit embarrassed because the catalog that I used is called Dr. Leonard's, and I did not have that information with me when I submitted, and I thought it was Dr. Fredericks. It just wound up being Dr. Fredericks, and so I guess that's what it is. But
Well,
it's
perfect, meant to be.
yeah, but it's a mail order catalog called Dr. Leonard's. And what's fun about the piece too is if you see the tiny bits close up, you'll see little bits of faces and the products and the items available in the catalog.
Oh, yeah. Wonderful. It's fun, and I like the name. I'm glad the name changed for some reason. It feels like now it's become Dr. Fredericks
It has become that now, yes.
with the old and with the new.
Mhm.
Thanks, Tom, and congratulations.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Okay, let's see. What time is it about?
5:27
5:30.
according to my clock.
Oh, okay, because I was hoping that Christine might show up, but obviously she hasn't. So now we go on to our first place. Glesner. The Crying Chandelier, this beautiful encaustic collage pyrography that I said.
Pyrography.
Pyrography, mixed media. 36 by 36. And Lorraine, are you here?
I am here.
Oh, good.
Okay, let me try to find you here so I can spotlight you. In the meanwhile, oops.
Oh, Lorraine, both your pieces were beautiful, but tell us about this one.
Thank you. So, well, first I'd like to thank you for the award. I was quite honored to receive such an award after I'm one of the 15 that just started with this group within the past couple months. So I was very surprised that I even got in the show, much less won an award. So and the first place nonetheless. So I was very very happy. So thank you very much for that. So this piece, what my work at its core is about is making connections between the earth and the body through marks and patterns. And one of the things that I do, or a number of things I do, is I try to create marks and patterns in a more like uncontrolled way by creating stains on fabric and paper. And that's what this piece started out with, was a piece of stained fabric covering the board. And then I respond to those stains with the collage and with pyrography, which is burning and I call it, it's burning and branding, which I heat up a metal piece and I brand into the wood and into the fabric. So it's a whole bunch of random marks, and then responding to those marks with recognizable imagery. I always use flowers and plants because I'm using them as a metaphor for life and death and cyclic processes. So it's all tied in together. So I hope that made sense. That was kind of a quick synopsis. But the crying chandelier. So what I like to do is I like to wander through. I live in Philadelphia, and I like to wander. I put my hat on and my hair in a ponytail, and I sort of hide under the brim of the hat, and I go into some of the worst neighborhoods and take photographs of the walls. I'm really interested in the marks on the sidewalks and the walls that show the mark of people and the mark of time, and just the mark of life on them. And that's what I was doing when I came upon. I went under an overpass of the highway, and under that overpass was an entire living room set, including the chandelier. So that had been arranged like a living room, it just felt like you were just walking into a space. And the chandelier was sort of laying on its side, and it was a fake chandelier, fake orangey gold crystals, and they were just covered with grime. And it was really sad because when it was laying on its side, it kind of, when a chandelier is hanging, it's twinkling, and the crystals remind me of teardrops. So when it was laying on its side, it just kind of like looked like this flaccid sort of teardrop, sad chandelier. And I thought about, well, what could possibly, and you see these kind of dumping sites all over the city, mattresses and things like that. And I thought, well, what could possibly have gone on in a person's life that they would come and just dump their entire living room set? Did they have to move and they couldn't figure out what to do with it, and they just dumped it under the overpass? And I just started thinking about that. And then I actually looked around, and somebody had actually been using this living room set as a makeshift home. And so I thought, well, it's new life, and I thought it kind of fed into that idea of hard times and maybe a bit of rejuvenation for both the set and for maybe the person who was using it. Certainly we don't want to be living under an overpass, but I thought, well, at least they had something soft to lay on and a chandelier to remind them maybe of better times. So that's where this came from. That's where the crying chandelier came from. That's where
Lorraine,
Love it.
sorry.
Great story.
Yeah, I'm from Philadelphia, so.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yes.
This
What
is from North
neighborhood
Philly.
What,
This idea. I
where
was
was
walking
it?
around North Philly,
North
Kensington.
Philly, I figured, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't walk around much now after COVID. It's gotten a lot worse, but there's some good photography there. And
Yeah.
sometimes I'll don my disguise and go through there because you don't want to be looking like I do walking through there. So I
Right.
do wear a disguise, not wear a disguise, but I hide my face and
Mm,
just kind of look down a lot. So,
yeah. Well,
yeah.
I applaud you. You're very brave, and it's a beautiful piece. And I'm
Thank you.
fascinated by the story. It's amazing.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I appreciate that. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, no, this is the lovely, lovely piece.
Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations to all of our award winners. It's very exciting. And you can look in the mail for your certificate, and if you got money, that'll come too. I think now it would be nice if we have if you have a piece or don't, but would like to comment on any of the award pieces or comment on the piece that you have in the show, now's a good time for you to do that. So I think if you raise your hand, we'll try to, or put your name in chat, we'll try to keep track and make sure that you get called upon.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Sylvia?
What?
Okay, is Pat going to be, Barbara normally takes care of the show, spotlighting the art pieces. I don't have those art pieces, so
I can do it.
can you do it, Pat? Okay,
I'm
terrific.
going to do it. You'll just have to be a tiny bit patient as
Oh, yes, and you'll have to be patient with me too, them spotlighting the
as
person.
I'm,
We'll work
yeah,
together.
so I'll be doing what Barbara usually does, and I'll be maneuvering to the piece. So I
Okay.
just need to know who it is, and I'll find it, and then I will start screen sharing again here. And
All right,
Well,
so, yeah, so first, put everybody up like it was, so I can see if anybody raises their hand, okay? Oh, I see, you're gonna do it this, but
I'm going to
first,
do it this way, and what I will do is whoever you tell me to show, I will go quickly find it and click on it, and we'll see it.
well, I can't see everybody to see who raises their hand, but
How about trying to put it in the chat? If somebody would put it in the chat, I can find the name there, or else unmute yourself and say, I'd like to show. That's probably the best way. Unmute yourself and say, I'd like to show my piece.
I see some names here.
Okay.
Liz Lystra, Janet, iPad, Liz Lystra, are you there? Are you interested? You have to unmute so we know if I'm saying somebody that's here. Jump to first.
Oh, she's here. I saw her name.
And
She
there's
was
your
here.
piece.
And there's her piece. Would you like to say something about your piece, Liz? Tell us about it. Unmute yourself. Huh. Well, this is there a way that we can have everybody's face up so we can see, or you're going to do it by chat? All right, you are invited, each of you, to name your piece and tell us about it. We want to hear a little bit about how you came up with your art. Anybody? Toby? I can't see everybody at once. Let's see.
I'll say something about my piece if you insist.
Toby? Who's speaking?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Toby.
All right, let's find your piece and then let's hear
Toby
about
Salkin, yes,
Toby.
it's the best piece there, but you know.
Toby Salkin. There it is.
Whoops. Where?
That's one.
That's nice, but it's not mine.
There you go.
Oh, hello.
Okay, tell us.
But, well, what can I say? It's a 12 by 12, I think. Maybe it's bigger, I'm not
10 by
sure.
10, it says.
Okay, thank you. And I've been using book pages. We once had, remember we had a great meeting with a woman who came from the desert to show us how to do pieces of books. And so I took it from there. This middle piece that you see that looks like scratched up gold leaf is gold leaf. And the collector's edition is the piece from the front of the book. And just different pieces of paper, and that's my story. I figured maybe I could start and someone else would be interested in saying something.
Oh, thank you, Toby. But this is a fun piece.
Thank you.
Very well balanced, and it's really the textures are so interesting.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, move along.
All right, someone else, just pop up, please.
Here's a fourth
So,
one.
you know
on
what,
chat.
Adrian Fells, Abigail Fells said she'd like to speak.
Okay, Abigail. What's her last name?
F-E-L-S, Fells.
Bells. Okay, here we go. Pat's bringing it up. There we go.
Here it
Here.
is.
Ooh, nice. Tell us.
Okay, so I was very pleased to be having a piece accepted. I submitted 3, and I had 2 collages made, and then I had part of this one figured out, and I really had to push myself to finish it within the deadline. But I'm really glad I did, because it was the one that got accepted. And you know, you just never know, right? And it's pieces of images from National Geographic and some papers I've collected, and also some pieces of pre-Columbian fabric that I have from a trip I took to South America in 1976. And for years I have wanted to use them in artwork, and so I incorporated them in this one.
Nice.
So anyway, it has a mystical feel to me. I think my thinking was known and unknown, meaning past, present, you know, universe, animal, human, ancient, present, a lot of different cultures coming together.
Very nice. It reads that, that's for sure.
Good, good. Thank you.
Brenda Welsh. Right there.
Okay, is that the right one? No.
This one, yes.
There we go.
Oh,
Thank you. Yeah, I was excited to be selected too. This is not the one I thought you would pick, but I was happy she did. This is called Enter If You Dare. It's let's see, it's 30 by 22. It's a collage. It's with acrylic and paper and fabric on watercolor paper. And the connections here were sort of connecting emotions to memories. And I was remembering some travel that my husband and I took together. And I was remembering, you know, passages and archways and doorways and things of that nature. And so I titled it Enter If You Dare, because sometimes those can be happy memories or they can be, you know, sad memories. So, but basically I thought of it as kind of a happy piece, but there's a lot of mixed feelings to represent, you know, what could be there. But there's material and there's fabric and paper and acrylic and India ink in this piece.
The lower right corner almost looks like a face that it's
right.
That's the fun of abstract. You could read into it or see.
Exactly.
You probably look at this for a while, you'll see something else in there. But yeah, I guess, yeah. Oh, now I've never seen that before, but yeah, I can see it now.
But it's not, really, but it's like what you were saying, the past and the present, the kind of a ghosty feeling to it. And
Hopefully not my face, but
thank you. Brenda, are you a member?
oh yes, I've been a member for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, I think, you know.
Excuse me, because I don't always see the member list, so I'm no, Suzanne and Patrice are the ones that know everybody.
Yeah, I know Brenda.
Yeah, I know Suzanne, and I know a lot of people by names, but with COVID, we couldn't get together and stuff, but yeah, it's a wonderful organization.
Okay, so Fernando Ramos, oh, and then Quay Lin too. So, but let's take one or the other first.
Oh, Quay Lin. Oh my God. what an
Fernando
artist.
first, okay? I don't want
Right.
to be a hog.
Fernando Ramos.
Ramos.
Which piece? There's two.
That's it.
Either is fine.
No, which one did one? Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. So thank you so much. I really appreciate for you guys letting me participate in like the gallery. I am very shy, so I don't. This is like one of the first things I'm really participating in. I've been working on collage for a long time now. It's probably been like 10 years or so. I'm mostly inspired by fantasy and narrative, intuition, improvisation, and spontaneity. So this piece is titled Collision Coalition. Essentially, I have like two large heavenly bodies kind of colliding against each other. And I have some figures in the foreground and the background, kind of like working in unison. They're gathering material, kind of like creating a different kind of narrative, and repurposing like the debris into like kind of like a mountain, so that this figure is like, crossing this landscape.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I was intrigued by this. It is sort of otherworldly, and I found it very fascinating to me.
Yeah.
With this world thing behind it, it's like our world today. Where the hell are we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you, Fernando.
Yeah, I think you need to join us. I have watched you and you have been so happy and smiling. And I think that you need to join this group.
Is that you, Fernando, in the work?
In the work, no. Most of the images, I have like a fascination. I go like to a lot of thrift stores, like all like across South Florida. That's where I'm located. And I go hunting for like vintage books, and like so I go to like a lot of these like a lot of churches have like like little stores in them and stuff. And so I can go to like various small places, and I just love collecting. That's like one of my favorite things. So
Good.
But does that represent you maybe in one of the works? Perhaps subconsciously?
I don't think so. I think mostly it's supposed to represent like this other like I think the gentleman in the figure represents the spirit of like looking past like the destruction into something that's like further, because you have this super moon in the back that's almost like this weird cosmic relationship between the foreground and the background, and
Yes.
he's over the debris. He's kind of like maneuvering his way, kind of trying to get through this difficult landscape.
Okay.
And it's all
Wonderful.
photographic.
It's all just like found paper, like from like National Geographic books and like Life and Time.
Very well
Wonderful.
done, Fernando.
Wonderful. Beautiful.
Yeah. Bravo.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Thank you. Quay Lin is next, I believe. And then we have Forrest Ray.
Okay. I see that Christine is here, but we'll continue for a little bit and then we'll ask Christine, our juror, to say a few words. But right now, let's finish with the couple people that have wanted to talk about their work. Okay, Quaylin, go.
Okay, this Scenes from the Saga of Lily and Misako is basically a book that I did called Fuzzy Village to Lily and Misako, but instead of being an 84-page book, it just got shrunk down and edited way, way, way down into like the essence of the story. And it is, and then I shrunk it down to a really like kind of microscopic size, not really microscopic, but very small, because I wanted to just challenge the way we do collage. It is digital, so I'm able to shrink and print at a very small scale. And it was done in a program called Corel Draw, where it's like basically it's not Photoshop, it's like vector illustration, and then manipulation of photographic images. So there's just a lot of different things like happening. And basically it's basically the story of two Asian American girls who got dislocated from their family and found like a new place in this village far away.
Wonderful. Wow.
Lynn, can I just say something, because your work fascinates me, and this reminds me of hieroglyphics.
I love ancient Egyptian scripts and wall paintings, and that's almost one of my more favorite ways to express myself.
This
So,
definitely
you're observant.
Yep. Thanks.
Okay.
Terrific.
So
Okay.
maybe since Christine is here, she might like to comment on the artists now.
Okay, we had one
As
more.
they speak, I know there's people who are waiting, but
Okay.
perhaps she
Sure.
could speak on those pieces also and then go to the other ones that we've done already. Just a thought.
Sure.
Okay. Well, Christine, you're with us. Welcome.
Hello, sorry I'm late.
All right. You're here now, and if you want to say anything about this piece, or we can move on, and whatever you feel.
I feel like since there's a lot of artists that I missed, I don't want to just talk about a couple and leave out the rest, but
Yeah.
maybe at the end do like an overview of,
Okay.
how I chose artists and things like that.
I like that idea. I think we should just have one or two more, and then we'll go back kind of to the beginning and have you tell us about yourself, and then we comment on all of them.
I think we had Forrest Gray waiting to show his piece, and that's the last name I have of anybody who volunteered so far.
So anybody else that wants to volunteer, now's your time. We can come back again. So if you decide to do it later, it'll be all right. Here's Forrest Gray.
Whoops, one
Wrong.
minute here, sorry. There we go.
Okay, Forrest is actually me. And I have two pieces, and this one is unusual in that I usually work on book covers. So that is what is unusual about this piece. But the way I start a piece is not with any kind of idea or concept. I'm like Fernando. I love old bookstores, and I go and I collect a lot of old books. And then after I finish a piece, the next project is to go through a lot of these books and magazines I have and tear out a lot of the images, and I file them by categories. And while I'm doing that and I keep adding to my files, something will always pop up that intrigues me out of that particular set of images that I just kind of tore out of magazines or books. And that's always the catalyst for the next artwork. So it's always catalyzed by something I recently just found. And then I go dig through my files and I find other things, and I just start cutting and pasting and assembling and moving things around until they create an image that or an artwork that I'm satisfied with. This one was, the cuttings were so big from large magazines and other things that they wouldn't fit on any of the book covers that I had. And so for this one, after I got it all done, I glued it all down on a sheet of black printmaking paper, and then I mounted the black printmaking paper on black foam core. And then I cut out the whole thing so it had strength, and it also could be just mounted directly on a wall. It didn't have to be framed to be displayed. It could be framed, but I've shown this once just on the wall using Velcro, I guess is what I used on it. So this was quite different than my usual work, which is usually on old book covers. So that's kind of my process.
Well, thank you. Wow. Okay, let's see. It reminds me a little bit of some of your structural things that you did, Suzanne. The
No, very architectural. I love it.
Yeah, very architectural. This is a fascinating piece. Thank you. Sherry, right? No.
It's actually the program won't let me change my name on here. I'm on somebody's computer. I couldn't get it changed.
Whose piece is it? Forrest or?
It's Forrest Gray. I'm Forrest Gray.
Oh,
Yes.
you're Forrest Gray. Okay.
Sorry, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
When you use your book covers, do you glue right on the book cover, or do you put something on the book, some kind of paint or something on the book cover?
Well, if you could quickly, I won't talk about the piece, but if you scroll, there you go. So I work directly either on the inside or the outside. On this one, I layered 2 books on top of each other. So that's an example of something on book covers.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Nice. All right. Anybody else that wants to? I'll call upon you again. So if you decide you want to say something, please feel free. But at this point, we'll go to Christine. Is she? There she is. I see her. So hi, Christine. Welcome, hon. We missed you. You missed giving out the awards, but you have a chance now to say whatever you'd like to. And why don't we start off by first telling us how you felt about receiving all these fantastic entries and having to choose from them.
Yeah, well, again, thank you so much. I thought the opening was yesterday, and so it's mixed up, but I'm glad I was able to be here today.
Sorry
So,
about that.
oh no, that's okay. That's, it happens. We live in a busy art world, and so yeah, I'm glad I was able. Oh, I'm gonna update that for myself, so I'm not looking at just myself. So and if you don't know me, I'm Christine Shoemaker. I'm an artist, a multidisciplinary artist, and a curator. I run Shoebox Arts, which is a support network for artists, and I run Art and Cake, which is an online art publication. And I have an alternative art space called Shoebox Project. So I'm totally immersed in the art world. I live at the brewery near downtown LA. I'm an art community, and that's something that I feel is so important for artists today. And that's why, Fernando, if you don't belong to Collage Artists of America, I highly recommend joining. Anybody who isn't a member, to be part of a community like this and, have these gatherings and being able to talk about your work and answering and asking questions. And it's just, I mean, that's why I do what I do all around. So I highly recommend becoming part of a community, even if you're shy, that goes away quickly. So, and I will admit, I have a love-hate relationship with jurying. It's, jurying, I love seeing all of the artwork and all of, there's a few names I know here, but it was a blind jury. So I didn't know who the artists were at all. Who submitted, and which I like. I mean, sometimes I recognize the work, but in this case, there was 1 or 2 that I thought I recognized, but otherwise I didn't recognize, anybody's work. And, which I like, because then I could, look at it very subjectively and, based on just, many different elements that I'll talk about. And I love jurying because I can, meet new artists and see new techniques and new processes. And, I love how artists tell their stories through their art. And, and that's exactly, especially with collage and assemblage. And, where I was just at an open studios event across the street at Keystone, and, and it's just always, I mean, as an artist myself also, it's fascinating to see how artists' minds work. And we're all different. And just, I mean, the same thing with authors and musicians, and to see where it comes from. And then of course reading statements later on and hearing about where the work does come from is a whole other thing. But seeing how artists use the visual medium to tell their story is, it's a beautiful thing. And that's why I love juring. I hate juring because, I can't take everybody. So, I can't take every piece of art. And I've juried quite a bit. And a lot of times I'm like, okay, this is the last time I'm going to do it. But then it's like, the good part of it, comes back to me, and I'm like, okay, I'll do it again. And but yeah, I mean, it's hard, not being able to choose everybody. And even for an online exhibition, it's in person is totally different because there's a space, space limitations. But but I had kind of an amount that they suggested, and so I kind of kept with that. When I was looking, I went through all of the work like 2 or 3 times, and just like flipping through to see what people submitted. And just so I can kind of start to form a picture of some of the themes, some of the ideas, some of the I don't want to say similarities, because in a show like this, it's not about like, for instance, if you have a show based on like based on your mother, it's like there's a definite theme there where there wasn't necessarily one here. So for me, I went with I kind of went with my experiences, what I like. I used to want to be an architect, so I love the structure behind work, when any of that comes up. I love poetry, so I look for the poetry in work, and especially collage. There's just this really surreal poetry that comes through, in a lot of work. I'm an abstract artist, so I look for, how artists create, abstract compositions using, paper, using different material. I look for the formal elements, like how artists work with color and, color theory and combinations of color, the negative and positive spaces. I look for composition, how they're telling their story and how it's laid out. I also love I like neo-Baroque. I'm also an art historian, so I love the Baroque era, and especially like the neo-Baroque era today, that kind of the maximalist. So, if it's a really good, like Tom Lasley or even Lorraine Glessner, or, those, if it just comes together and it, the presentation and, I don't know, it works, then, then I'm all in. And so, I looked for those as I was going through, the images, and also, like I said, the stories, what elements are being used in collage to tell the story based on it could be based on the title that, was presented, or I can't remember if it was the show, and I apologize if it wasn't, but in a couple of shows I've juried recently, people were able to write a little something about the work. And so in the past, I've looked at that, the stories that are being told. And so, I went through and I chose like the yeses and nos and maybes. And then I went through, a couple more times, like, because I'm also about putting together a cohesive show. I want, the work to work well together and kind of to tell a story, together. And I feel like, I feel like I really did that. Even if it's online, I still feel like a good show, a good cohesive show is important. So, the work each individual work is important, by each artist, but putting together a whole show. And this comes from my background. I mentor artists and I talk about, we talk about rejection all the time. And it's not about you, it's not about the art. It's about it's about the show that's being put together. And so, I thought about that as I was juring, and, I don't know where I was going with that, but I don't know. What else can I answer or about the show?
Oh, that's swell. No, that gives us a great idea about it. I mean, and it ends up being pretty much, I think you picked a great show. I think it's intriguing and interesting. I went in, I don't always look at thoroughly through shows, and this one I could not help myself. I had to look at each piece very closely, and I think you did a swell job, and I thank you. We all thank you for that. If I don't, at this point, do you feel like you want to say anything about any of the award-winning pieces, or should we try to see if anybody else wants to talk about their piece that isn't, that's in the show? So someone else chime in here and tell me what to do.
I can just say that, the prizes, I had the list of what the prizes were, supposed to be, what I was supposed to award in front of me. And I kind of went to what I was drawn to. And, also, I mean, I will say too, based on how the work is presented, I know online it can be hard to present work. I mean, photography is so important, or how you scan the work, depending on the size. It's, growing up, I mean, as a painter or mixed media, I mean, I'm a multidisciplinary artist for the last 25 years. I remember my first photographs had glares on them, and I submitted those, and now I'm mortified. But, so I do look at, the professionalism of how the work is presented, and in different ways. And so, I kept an eye on that. Also, that whether you could see the frame or not, or, and sometimes that's good. Sometimes it's really important to see the frame. But I looked at, if I could tell if like the color was off, or, so I look at things like that, kind of the professionalism of submitting the work. I know, like I said, it's an online show, but we're an online world now. And so, if you want to get your work out there, whether it's social media, whether it's selling on your website, whether it's use Saatchi online, or whatever it is, or even, collage artists, if you want to sell your work, it really has to be presented right. So I definitely looked at that too. The first place, Lorraine Glessner, she had, and I don't know Lorraine or anything, but there were 3 or 4 pieces that were all hers, that I could tell were all hers. And I was immediately drawn to those. And the one thing also is, as I was going through the show, just how collage has expanded over, over the years and in our art world. And, I mean, originally it was like the Dada movement, like the 1920s with Hannah Hoke, and, to see the different, like how artists are using collage today, whether it's digital, whether it is, with, the various materials out there, whether it is, like forests, the way it's structured and compartmentalized in different ways. It's, I really like that. And so I look for the unique and also the beautiful, because a lot of times in our world today, artists create a lot of political art, and there was that also. But I also, I look for the beauty, because I feel like we need that too. So. Oh, and I think you're talking, Sylvia, but you're muted. The other thing really fast I want to say is, because it was a blind jury, I didn't know anybody, but I would love to like follow you on social media. So I don't know if you did this already before I got here, but if you want to put like your websites and, social media in chat, and that way I could save it and go and follow you and chat and stuff. I mean, I don't know if that's okay.
Yeah, what do you, I don't know how, can we do that? Everyone, Carol, Pat?
You know what? I think if you put it in chat, I'm not aware of how to do it, but I know my sister is, Barbara. You can print it out for anybody that's interested, for you, for you, Christine. And yeah, that would probably take about another week and a half because she's out of town. However, yes, I'm sure it could be done.
I can save
we're
chat.
recorded, and so do it in chat, and yeah.
It's easy to print out, and anybody should be able to print it out.
Okay, good.
Oh, good. That's beyond my little scope.
It's just the to print it out, you just go into the chat, and there should be 3 little dots at the bottom.
Oh,
And
but then we all have to put in our website.
and then you can save the chat. And if for some reason the participants, let's see, participants. I'll make Christina co-host while we're at it.
Oh, yeah, it's okay. I mean, as long as, I can save the chat and so yeah, I'm able to do that. So that's no problem.
Good.
Okay, good.
Okay.
You're welcome to speak as you wish as we go along here, but someone else has offered would like to talk about their piece. Barbara Fugazato, Empires and Empires and Emperors. Are you still here, Barbara? Are you am I right?
Which piece was that?
Empires and Emperors.
And the artist?
Is Barbara Fugazato. Fuzazzato.
Got it.
F-U-G.
Okay, here I am. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes, there is. Okay. Yeah, I've always been fascinated by the ancient cultures like the Romans and the Greeks and so on. And those cultures have influenced a great deal of what we are and have today with our political systems and economic systems and so on. And I came upon a collection of black and white photographs of these like Greek sculptures and temples and so on. So I did a lot of cutouts of those and then started collaging on this globe and using the globe as the basis because I'm thinking how these people have influenced the whole world with their colonizing and wars and all kinds of activities through the centuries. So I thought it was a fitting way to present them. And of course, the view is different in all directions. And it was really fun. And then adding in some other kinds of patterns, like the zebra stripes and things like that, to just make it a little more exciting and more lively, and not like the dead cultures that are in history, past history, making them a little more alive today, because their influences are still here with us today.
Wow, that is really beautiful, huh?
By using just black and white, they're old, so they're kind of black and gray and a little bit of white. That was what kind of tied it all together by putting them together on the globe, and then black and white patterns in there too. But I like to collage on paper, fabric, 3-dimensional shapes, all kinds of things. So
well, did you coat it with a golden color or?
Yeah, once all of that was glued on there, then I did kind of like a staining color, an amber kind of a color to make it kind of look old, like it's historical.
Beautiful, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, I think that, yeah, very nice. And we didn't get to see you. Let me see if I can. And is there anybody else that, oh, there you are, Barbara. Now I see your face.
And thank you, Christine, for your comments on what you look for, what affects the choices that you make. That's really interesting to hear.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yes. Thank you. Very enlightening stuff. And it reminds us too, you know, of all the things that we sometimes forget when we get involved. The basics are always there for us to draw upon, colors and theory. So plus all our, you know, our imagination. Anybody else would like to speak or ask Christine a question or ask any of the other artists a question? Now's the time. Any other announcement? Does anybody want to make an announcement and about anything coming up? Collage Artists will have another show. Let's see, what is this? Is November. We have a general meeting coming up with a speaker that you will love to hear. So watch for our announcement. The meeting is, when is the meeting? Is on the 17th of November at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And so please be alert for that and hear our speaker that will be featured. And then we'll have another, hopefully another meeting in January and a spring members only, probably a Zoom meeting, Zoom exhibit again. And then of course in the fall, we'll have another open show. So with that.
Can I ask, can we span the work that's in this show? Are you gonna be showing row by row the work that got into this show?
Well, now this show is available on San Fernando at the Score. It'll be available from our website. Will also be accessible at online juried shows. So this show will remain for the dated period, but will also be available beyond that anytime in the archives.
Yeah, through December.
Through
The show is up through December.
Yeah, December 31st.
Right.
So
So it's
right through December.
Yeah, sfvacc.org.
Right. So that's a lovely. Now, if they go to our website, can they click it on to it from there too? Can they? Corlin?
I'm sorry. You know what? I was trying to do things. Did you have a question?
I said, well, isn't it possible for the show to be accessed at Score, San Fernando,
Yes.
from our website?
Yes, it
Oh,
is.
that's a good question.
I think
That
it
depends
is.
on Barbara.
Well, yes, I think
She's
so.
not here.
And so it's like if Barbara does the link.
Yes,
then-
I say you can.
Okay.
What is the Score website?
Pat?
That-
Well,
I just put it in chat.
Yeah.
It's score.org.
No, it's sfvacc.org.
Look at the chat.
and I'm pretty certain that if you go to our website, Collage Artist website, and click on exhibits, that the information comes up and that you can click on it. It should take you, but if it doesn't, we should do that. We should make sure that has happened. Anyway. Okay, more questions, more speaking. Anybody? Fernando, I want you to join us.
No pressure, no pressure, Fernando.
Sure,
Thank you, Christine.
I'll be
Thank
welcome.
you very much.
Okay,
Thank you, Christine.
And
Thank
thank
you.
Very welcome.
thank you, Pat.
And
Thank you.
Pat,
You're very welcome.
Thank
you,
you,
Christine.
Christine, for
Bye,
joining
You're
everyone.
welcome.
Thank you.
so much to think about. And all of you have been here today with us. Thank you for joining and being here. It made it a lovely, and it was nice hearing about not only the winners, but the everybody offered to talk about their work. I found it very fascinating and enjoyable. So till next time, hasta la vista.
Okay, thank you.
Hey,
Everybody,
thank you,
nice to
have
Christine.
a good weekend, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Hey,
A
Great
wonderful
show. Thank you.
season, everybody. Stay safe and
Bye.
happy and cheery. Bye.
bye.
Bye.